Lewis structures are not only about dots and lines, they are about making atoms happy and keeping track of charges. Today, we are drawing the Lewis structure of the sulfite ion, SO₃²-. And yes, the little 2- matters. Don't ignore it. It's not there for decoration, okay? Let's start with what everyone wants. Sulfur wants 8 electrons. Each oxygen wants 8 electrons. So we have 3 atoms of oxygen. So that will give you 3 times 8 electrons will be 24 electrons. So the total number of electrons needed would be 8 plus 24 will give you 32 electrons. That is the dream life. That is what would make each of the atoms happy. The next step to do is to count how many electrons we actually have in the bank. We have to do that by referring to the periodic table. So this will be group 1, group 2, 7, and group 8. Both oxygen and sulfur atoms are in group 6. So for valence electrons, sulfur has 6 valence electrons. 3 atoms of oxygen would be 3 times 6, which will be 18 valence electrons, which will give you a subtotal of 6 plus 18 will be 24 electrons. But wait, this is an ion. There's a 2- charge. The 2- charge means we have an extra 2 electrons. So we will add the 2 extra electrons, and that will give you a total of 26 valence electrons. It's 26 because the ion came with bonus electrons. The next step is to find the bonding electrons. The electrons we are missing are the ones that must be shared. So we subtract what we have from what we actually needed, and we needed 32 total electrons, and we only have 26 valence electrons. This will give you 6 bonding electrons. And since each bond or each line uses 2 electrons, we will divide 6 bonding electrons by 2 to get 3 bonds. That tells us that the minimum number of bonds in this structure will be 3 bonds. The next step is to draw the skeleton. Sulfur goes in the center. Why? Because sulfur also likes attention. It can take multiple bonds and is less electronegative compared to oxygen atoms. So you draw the sulfur in the center, attach 3 single bonds coming out of the sulfur. Attach 1 oxygen to each bond. Let's do a quick happiness check. Remember that each line or each bond has 2 electrons. Sulfur has 6 electrons. Oxygen atom also has 1 line bonding to sulfur. That means it has only 2 electrons. That means sulfur and oxygen are both very unhappy. Remember, being happy means to have 8 electrons. We have used 6 electrons for bonding. Okay, we had a total of 26 valence electrons. That means we have 20 non-bonding electrons left. If we divide 20 non-bonding electrons by 2, you will have 10 lone pairs. Now place lone pairs on oxygens first. Because of the single bond, each atom of oxygen has only 2 electrons. So place 6 more electrons on each atom of oxygen to make it happy. Don't just place the electrons on oxygen anyhow. Imagine that the oxygen is in a box, okay? Each side of the box can take a maximum of 2 electrons. That way your drawing will appear neat. So we have 10 lone pairs. So give each oxygen 3 lone pairs. So we started out with 20 non-bonding electrons. We have used 18 non-bonding electrons for oxygen. We still have 2 electrons left because 20 minus 18 will give you 2. Where do the last electrons go? They go on sulfur. So add the 1 lone pair onto the sulfur. And now let's count again and see if each of the atoms are happy. Let's start with the oxygen. Remember, oxygen needed 8 electrons to be happy. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. Oxygen has 8 electrons, so oxygen is happy. Let's move on to sulfur. We have 2, 4, 6, 8. Sulfur has 8 electrons. That means sulfur is also happy. So in chemistry, there's something we call resonance. Any of the oxygen atoms can form resonance structures with the sulfur, okay? So that the negative charges are evenly spread out. Sulfur can expand its octet. So instead of having 3 single bonds, 1 oxygen forms a double bond. That means you have 1 sulfur double bond to oxygen and 2 sulfur single bond to oxygen atoms, okay? To visualize the Lewis structure for sulfite ion, SO₃²-, we will have the red bars representing oxygen atoms, the purple bar representing the central sulfur atom. We have our 3 bonds, and then the little sticks will represent 10 lone pairs, which is the same thing as 20 non-bonding electrons. So attach the 3 bonds to the sulfur atom, okay, and then attach all the 3 oxygen atoms. To make the atoms happy, each atom will have 8 electrons. So each oxygen atom will have 3 lone pairs. 1 lone pair of electrons go onto the sulfur atom. To form resonance, any of the lone pairs on the oxygen atom can form a double bond with the sulfur atom. We have 1 sulfur double bonded to oxygen and 2 single bond sulfur oxygen bonds. Either of these structures will be appropriate for the Lewis structure of the sulfite ion, SO₃²-. Always remember that practice makes permanent. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.